My name is Skaggs, and I'm a second year in economics and public health, and I'm a current undergraduate student government senator. I'm a staff assistant at the University Honors and Scholars Center, and I'm the treasurer of College Democrats at OSU.
My name is Danielle Meyer, and I'm a junior at The Ohio State University. I'm a political science major, minoring in psychology and German, and I'm currently an undergraduate student government senator serving the off-campus constituency. I'm a health science scholar, and I'm a sister of Alpha Omicron Pi sorority.
Okay, so the four things that our administration wants to focus on are academics, affordability, engagement, and wellness. With academics, we want to ensure that the academic progress that students have made is protected in the semester switch. With engagement, we want to give student groups the resources that they need to be the most effective that they can be, and to make sure that we promote diversity and understanding at OSU. With affordability, we want to make sure that students can actually afford to attend, so we want to advocate for more federal aid. Plus, we want to negotiate a bike sharing program for the city of Columbus. We want to work for more access to medical services for students, and we want to negotiate agreements that will allow OSU police to go into the off-campus community and protect our students. So we are very concerned about tuition and fees that students have to pay to attend the university. A recent study by College Access and Success showed that students in Ohio had the 7th highest debt level upon graduation in the nation.
Currently, under the semester system, any hours over 17 are set to be surcharged, and we want to fight to make sure that students can afford to take the semester hours that they want, get things done. So we're going to try and make sure that the surcharge is lowered as much as we can possibly get it lowered to help students.
Another aspect of affordability is housing on and off campus. With the new second-year live-in requirement being enforced, we need to make sure that we're not losing broad swaths of diversity across certain populations on campus. And with off-campus housing, we need to ensure that students can get the off-campus housing that they need.
A lot of issues that most of the student population is concerned about. One in particular is the privatization of parking. Travis and I feel the same way most of you do, but we've come to realize that instead of putting your feet in the sand and fighting administration all the way, it's going to happen. So the thing that we're going to do is make sure that the money that comes in through the university is most beneficial for students, which could mean improving classrooms, improving green space on campus. It could go towards anything that we want it to. And the more that we work with administration, the more they're going to include us in the negotiations when it comes time for how we're going to spend the money that comes in, which could be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of millions.
Hundreds of millions.
Hate speech comes from hate attitudes, and hate attitudes come from insecurity. And we need to remain vigilant about how insecurity threatens our campus and our safety. Every year, Westboro Baptist Church comes to us to tell us that God hates us because we're Ohio State. Earlier this year, Muslim Student Association presidents were attacked as terrorists, and we don't think this is okay. If there's one thing the University Conduct Board has taught me, which is the body that prosecutes student misconduct cases, it's that education has a real place in how we as students live as a community. As an undergraduate student government and as a university, we can really use the resources that we command, and we can put those toward programming. We can put those toward education, and we can put those toward reaching out to students so that we can make sure that hate speech is not an issue on our campus. Yeah.
Westboro Baptist Church had on their signs, "God hates Ohio State University," but a word to the wise, Westboro Baptist Church, it's the Ohio State University. Upon taking my position as a senator, the biggest challenge that I first experienced was not really knowing how the organization worked as a whole. The second-year returning senators, some of them, there needs to be more working with new senators to encourage that they hit the ground running, that things happen as soon as they take office, that they do everything that they can. One project that I tried really hard to work on, and I'm going to continue to work on because I think it's important, off-campus living, the majority of landlords aren't on the same schedule. Me personally I live on High Street, and we went to look at new apartments, and our landlord actually starts asking us to renew before the majority of landlords even start showing apartments. So we were in a tough position with whether or not to renew our contract, because we could have essentially had nowhere to live if the places we were looking at, those tenants renewed. So I'd like for all landlords to be on the same schedule. They're getting advertising from the university. Students need to be certain in off-campus housing when they go to sign a contract, renew a contract. There's only so much housing available for students, and they need to be in the best position possible to live where they want to live and in the places that are going to serve their interests best.
So one issue that I faced this year in undergraduate student government is not being able to find all the information that I need and not knowing exactly where to go. So one solution to this is actually Issue 1, which is on the ballot this year. Issue 1, if enacted, will restructure USG to better reflect its position in the university. It increases the efficacy and the advocacy power of USG, and it makes us act more cohesively, cogently, and coherently. So challenges that the university will be facing over the next year, challenges that students are facing. Things like the privatization of parking, enterprising the university, the affordability of higher education, and simply switching to semesters are all going to be issues for students. And the focus of our administration, our priorities, will be to make sure that those things don't negatively impact students. Okay. So the absolute best experience about being in USG and running for USG has been listening to students, having the students put their faith in you and saying what they want to see out of the student government and ultimately out of a university.
When you elect people to serve you in undergraduate student government, you're trying to ensure that they reflect your best interests, not the interests of one organization or another, or the interests of involved students versus uninvolved students. Our job is to represent every student and make sure that you have the best experience here at The Ohio State University that you can possibly have.
So that's what we want to do when we're actually in office. We want to continue listening to your concerns. So please go to votetravisanddanielle.com right now and vote Travis and Danielle on April 12th and 13th.